Hi, this is Denise Matthew and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to come in today and just show you something that I've been working on for about almost a year now, and finally I have something to share with you, and I really think it's going to be a great tool because it's all about human design, and what it is human design oracle cards. And I've done 64 of them and they're all designed by me. And each one has some symbolism. I'll show you exactly what they look like in a second. The inner triangle is representative of the body graph. And then we have the two crystals. We have a crystal, we have the design crystal, and then we also have the personality crystal. That's what they're symbolizing. So there is some meaning to the actual back of the card. And so if we look at the front of the card, there's a couple cards that I pulled out. So if we look at this particular card, this is representative of the Gate 48. The Gate 48 in human design. I will also have a meaning of what it will mean if you're doing sort of an oracle reading. So I'm working on the guidebook now. I hope to have it together quite soon. I know specifically what they mean, but I have to take it from my mind and put it on paper so that other people can understand what it means. But if you just wanted to learn human design from a perspective of learning the gates, we have this particular card, the 48. And if we look at this person, they're coming out of the water. And so when we talk about the Gate 48, we can say that it's in relation to the I Ching, the well. And the thing about the Gate 48 is sometimes you don't know when you have enough. Sometimes you don't know when there's enough depth, and you don't want to step out into the world with what you know because you don't feel like you've actually had enough, or you always need that little bit more. And what this person is doing is they're pushing out of the water, and they're understanding that this is the time for them to step into the light or to come out of the depth and be able to share what they know with other people. You know, this is kind of a nice idea because it has some symbolism, so you can actually look at this card and go, okay, this is what the Gate 48 means. Now, of course, you can look at this card and you can see other things that will relate to the Gate of Depth. In that respect, you can use it as well. And if you also look at the center here, there's a pearl. That represents the pearl of wisdom that you have when you realize that you know enough. It's time for you to show the world what you actually do know. There'll be more meanings to it, and what I plan to do in the next little while is I'm going to do some readings just so you guys can get a perspective of what it's like to work with these cards. I'm going to try and do, if I can, a weekly reading, sort of a general energy reading, and sort of talk about the energy of what's coming up, just so you can have an idea. Now this is a Gate 2 or card 2, and this is all about, now if you see there's a moth there, and the thing is it talks about directs. When we talk about the Gate 2, we talk about it direction of where you're going to go. This is actually would be the Gate 2 is where the magnetic monopole rests. So there's a lot of important meaning for it. But now if we look at just the symbolism of the card, we can see that the moth, an interesting thing about moths is that, you know, they're night creatures or nocturnal. And what happens is, I mean, I think pretty much everybody has seen a moth that literally will bang on a light, and they're always attracted to the light. Now, the thing about moths is they are actually moon creatures too. They're lunar creatures, and they actually are guided by the moon. But because of humans and all our artificial light that we put out there, the moths are oftentimes confused, and they don't know where the real light is, and so they will go to these artificial lights, these human lights, and they will be, and unfortunately some of them are dying because they're not being guided properly. So what we could say about this card is that this is about not looking at every light that's bright, being directed to the correct light, going to the correct path. So you see what I mean? There could be a lot of different paths that we can go on, but when we look at a moth and it's being led by the moon, you could even, if you wanted to put some symbolism about the moon in here, you could do that as well. But ultimately it's about the direction and directing the energy to the correct source. So, I mean, if we just said it as simple as that, and then every card has a word written on it as well, so you can easily understand what it is if you just wanted to go with a guide word. Now, some words are sort of different that I've just come up with because I feel like, you know, that's a really good representation of the card and the gate and the energy in itself. This is provocation. So the whole thing about provocation is the provocation would be connected to the Gate 55, which is the abundance. And the whole thing about provocation is to provoke people into the idea that we can be supported the universe if we believe it to be true. And when we look at this card, we can see that there's two candles. There's one candle here and there's one candle here. So one is like lighting the other candle. We have one person provoking another person and kind of like lighting their flame. So, you know, this whole, if you look at the whole idea, there's a quote that says one light can, but ultimately that's kind of the concept of when you get this one light, or when you get lit up, then you can, you know, light somebody else's candle, but you're provoked into doing something. It's kind of like that energy is transferred to you. So that's what it means. And this one is gate 26, and it's the greater good. So when we talk about the greater good, we see an elephant and we see a bird on top of it. And the bird is called an oxpecker. Now, what oxpeckers do is that they go on the elephants and they eat off the parasites, because elephants have like these parasitic bugs or something like that. So the oxpecker is actually getting a meal, and the elephant is getting a benefit in that it's getting, you know, these parasitic bugs removed from it. So when we talk about the gate 26, we're talking about, you know, selling things. We're talking about the energy that is, you know, you could be selling yourself, you could be selling things. It's very much related to abundance. It can be related to resources. But when we're talking about the gate 26, we're talking about the greater good. So what are you selling that is good for you as well as other people? And so you have this symbiotic relationship between the two, because they're both benefiting from their interaction. It's not just a one-sided thing. And so that's sort of symbolism of that. Of course, there'll be a lot more information about each one, but we have a few more. This is the gate 21. The gate 21 was also called, or the card 21, gate 21. It's called the if we look at the standard gates, we talk about the gate 21 being the treasurer, and it would be connected to the queen or king, which was the gate 45. And the gate 21 is all about having the resources to get through the winter. And the reason why I picked an owl was because owls are one of the only birds, from what I've read, that actually have what's called a larder, where they actually collect food and they save food. So you could say in a way that they're kind of like they're saving for you know, later times. So you could say that they're controlling what they have. Now the owl does it in a way where, you know, it's a survival thing. It's an instinctive thing. They're not, you know, hoarding. They're actually doing something that's important. So it's, you know, and it's all about control. So they know that when the winter comes, or times where there's not a lot of food comes, they have that energy and they have that food waiting for them. So the thing about this is we can talk about control. How much are we controlling? I mean, there's always got to be a balance. And are we trying to, because there can be an energy of trying to control everything, because when you have this energy, it hooks into the 45. Again, this is about resources. You know, are you trying to control the resources? Are you trying to control money? Are you trying to control people? You could even, like I said, maybe some colors inspire you. You can use these cards whatever way you like. And here's another one. This is the gate 51, the gate of shock. And if we look and see, we'd see a tornado coming, but behind the tornado, we have a rainbow coming. Now, some people could say this is almost like the Tower card, where literally something shocking happens, a big thing happens in your life, and basically it does disrupt your life in a dramatic way. But what you are left with is a different perspective on the world. And so, you know, there's, like I said, there's all these cards, and like I said, there's like 64 of them. There's a lot of these cards, and I will start doing some readings with them so that you can get even a better perspective of what they are. So I was also talking about them having an oracle message, and the oracle message is kind of something about, it's kind of related to the card, but it's a message of its own. So if you're just doing an oracle reading, it could sort of indicate something about what's happening in your life. So you don't actually have to have this energy of that particular card in your body graph at all. It's just an energy, because the reality is we all have the same 64 gates, but we have different gates defined, which means we're more fixed in certain places than we are in other places. But the energy of all the 64 gates are around everywhere you go. go. And so this is sort of an energetic of what do you feel. So for instance, for the gate 48, I wrote an oracle energy with it, and I'll just read that to you so you can sort of have an idea what it means. So this would be in the guidebook that would, that I'm writing with it. There's a feeling of anxiety and inadequacy. Am I enough? Do I know enough? Am I ready? Can I step into the light? What will happen if I step into the light? The darkness is easier. It's less scary because being hidden away feels secure and good. But there's a niggling that buzzes a message that it's time to step forward, and all the things that I worry about will slip away. The light is warm, and there's a freedom that allows us to believe that it is safe. Of course, there will be fear and anxiety that will wrap its fingers around you and never let go until you say so. It's in your power to release yourself from the tendrils of fear that graze your face, showing that it remains, yet the fear stands aside and allows you to shine. It's part of you, and it wants what you want, yet it is what it is, fear. It can never be anything but fear. It's one-dimensional, a part of you, but not all of you. So there is no mutation, just an understanding that it is present, a soft breeze that's a reminder that tells you a story about you and only you. It will stop you, that's important to know, but it will give you signals, ones that you must decipher and figure out. When will I stop? When will I go? Are the questions you might ask. Within that shell is a pearl. Within that cocoon is a butterfly that releases at the right time. And the right time comes in a song, a beautiful melody that you will hear that says, the time is now. There is a space to go down a new path, one where you will know you are safe, and it's safe to show the world who you are, to show the world the wisdom that you have learned in the sojourn that was but a flash of eternity. And when it is time to return to the quiet space, you will know, and there you will prepare for the next step toward the mastery that will come to meet you at the finish line. That's just one of the oracle messages that I wrote. I'm getting through them as fast as I can, but I just don't want to rush it because I really want to make sure that it's good and that it's representative of the cards, because human design deserves the best that I can give it. And that's my intention. Maybe I'm hoping next week to start doing some little oracle readings so that you can get a perspective of what it's like to work with these cards. And as well as the oracle cards, I'm going to also be doing all the regular videos. I'm going to still continue to do the videos that I've been doing on the different gates and energy updates on the human design transits. I'm going to do all those things. This is just one more thing that I'm adding to the channel that I think will be just one more dimension of human design. And I feel like it's going to benefit us all because we can actually get to know these human design gates even better. And the reality is the more we know ourselves, the more we know about how these gates interact with us and how they interact with other people, and not having to have anybody tell us anything other than what we know ourselves. I think that just makes life a lot better for us, and it's just a more sensible approach. I'm really a do-it-yourselfer, and I really like when people take control of their own destiny, their own information, and they use it the way they want to use it. And I mean, basically all I'm here is just saying, I have this information that I know about. You can believe it, or you could, adjust it, or you could think it's garbage. Because ultimately human design, as we always say, it's an experiment. It's a personal thing, and there is no agenda for anything other than you learning more about who you are. And again, if it works for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't for you. And if the oracle cards work for you and you like them, perfect. And if they don't, that's fine too. But it's just one more dimension of human design, because I'm kind of, as you might have noticed, I'm kind of like a little bit addicted to human design, and I kind of get a little deeper every day, and I never stop learning. I never stop researching, and I never stop questioning what people say, because I look at human design the same as everybody else, in that I look at other people and they say things and I say, no, that doesn't feel right to me. Are they wrong? No, they're just not right for me. And that's the discerning that we have to do to decide, is this right for me or it's not right for me. And if you're doing it for you, it will be right. And that's all I want to do, is I just want people to look with their own eyes and see what feels right for them, and take what you want and leave the rest behind. And that's what I always do myself. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm really looking forward to coming back with lots more content, some oracle readings, and pretty much all the human design stuff I can basically shoot out to you guys. And I hope you're well. Take care of yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.